This is The Full View. Welcome back. Now, the IEC says it is hoping for a voter turnout of 70% in the upcoming general elections, which would be substantially more than the 66% that was recorded 5 years ago. Nearly 9 in 10 young people who had registered to vote since November last year were young people, according to the Commission. And to further unpack this for us is Moagisi Sibanda, the Commission's General Manager for Civic Education as well as Research. Moagisi, thank you so much for your time this evening. Welcome. Look, during the IEC's final voter registration drive last weekend, the concern was voter apathy, especially among the youth. But clearly, this latest data actually paints a very different picture. What led to the surge in new registrations being high among the youth?
Good evening, Alicia, and good evening to the SABC for viewers. We're very, very encouraged by the turnout of young people. And to your question about what has brought them out, I think as the IEC, we really made a concerted effort to ensure that we target young people, and that is really meeting them where they are. So finding them online, really doing research on which platforms can we find them, which places, in communities can we find them. We've coupled our civic and democracy education with face-to-face, with multimedia, with radio, with digital, being on social media. So all of these efforts, Alicia, I think have really come together to enable us to see more young people coming out to register, and we hope more will still register while registration is open and turn out on voting day.
Now, how critical is it, Moagisi, for all those eligible to vote to actually do so and exercise their democratic right? And what is the direct impact of not doing so? Look, we've heard of different assumptions out there that we won't entertain as fact. But talk to us about the reality of what happens in this regard when a voter or eligible voter decides, look, I'm going to boycott the election.
Yeah. So just to speak on the issue of apathy, voters in South Africa, as research tells us, they're not apathetic as such. They're really disillusioned. They are disillusioned and have lost trust in governing systems, in politicians, in political parties. And I think it's that disappointment that is driving people to disengage. And that's what it is. It's not that people don't know that they should come out and vote. Is that they're saying, what does it matter? And what does it matter, as your question is? It's very important for us to ensure that we encourage people to participate. Because what disengagement does, Alicia, as Professor Schultz says, it creates this mutual, this mutual neglect, where if you are not utilizing your vote, this is your right to actually say, I'm reviewing my choices, I'm happy and I'm continuing, or I'm not happy and I'm choosing differently. You need to participate and see who aligns best with your own ambitions, your priorities, your community priorities, and go out and select those people. Because if you do not show up, then those politicians who are looking at their specific constituencies then forget about you. So young people are always complaining, we don't see ourselves in parliament, we don't see ourselves on ballot papers in terms of being candidates. Here's the opportunity NPE 24 offers, is that you can be an independent candidate this time around. Mobilize and show support and see that, what is that you can do for other young people, and to also put forward your own aspirations as a young person.
Now, going back to your point there of lost trust by citizens in those various politicians that are supposed to be leading them. I mean, we know that, Moagisi, some communities had staged protests and vowed to actually boycott the upcoming poll, citing various reasons, like, for example, the lack of service delivery, and those who basically say their vote has made no difference in their lives. What do you then say to those who feel that their vote is not important or will not change their social challenges?
I say don't look at voting in the narrow sense of whether it will bring you water today in your community. Democracy is a long-haul project. It's something that if you disengage from, you are the one who loses out in the end. And therefore, I think as more people disengage, it means we're not holding those we need to hold accountable to the standards that we expect of them, and hold them accountable to what it is that they promised. Thus, people begin then to utilize protests to disengage, but also to block others from being able to practice their constitutional right, which we discourage wholeheartedly, because people should be allowed to go and vote and express their satisfaction or dissatisfaction with whoever it is they wish to show that. So show your agency in turning out rather than removing yourself from the process. Because as I said, when you do disengage, really in the long haul, and even sometimes immediately, you suffer as a voter and as a citizen. So active citizenship really remains important, even in hard times.
And in closing, Moagisi, look, what other voter education drives as well as campaigns did the IEC undertake in order to encourage voters and eligible voters to go out in their numbers to register and to vote?
I think key to what we've done in civic education leading up to this election is that we did not shy away from the hard topics. So we were focusing on why it is important to participate and why are you not participating. We focused our research on actually trying to understand the discontent so that we're able to better respond to it. And I think people really feel they value the IEC's interaction with them because we show up. We're not afraid to engage. We're not afraid to listen to issues that have nothing to do with us that we cannot resolve for them, such as service delivery. But people feel like they need to be heard. And when you hear people out, you're also able to say, well, this is how that need, that priority links back to you participating in democracy in its full spectrum, from voting to accountability, to showing up at community meetings, to knowing your counselor. You really get to show people the links between their participation overall and how their promises can get fulfilled. I think that has been key to why people are starting to show up and come back and engaging with elections.
Thank you so much for your contributions there. That is Moagisi Sibanda, the IEC's General Manager for Civic Education and Research.